Hey, Sam from Guitar Village here, and today, to celebrate the 30th anniversary of our partnership with the Fender Custom Shop, we thought we'd do this special showcase presentation. We've got a few classic guitars, ones that we've worked with customers over the years and ones we think you'll really like to check out as well. And do stick around to the end because we've got one really special guitar too to show you. Okay, so when we think of Fender Custom Shop, typically I guess we all expect to see like a heavy Relic guitar, and you know, back in the 90s, really, the early 90s anyway, you wouldn't really have seen Relics coming from Fender. It was only till 95 that they launched them with the help of Vince Canetto, who did a lot of their aging out of house. Initially, when people saw them, I think a lot of the dealers looked at them and kind of turned their nose up at them, but a lot instantly realized that these things were going to be successful. So they got involved. Now, what happened is, after Vince Canetto was relicking these guitars with his team, they did them out of house, they got sent, box kits from Fender, they would age them, then send all these parts back and Fender would assemble them, do final setups, fret dresses, that kind of stuff. It wasn't until 98, 99 that Mike Eldred took over the custom shop and decided that they were actually going to bring all of this relicking process back in-house, and they streamlined it too. They came up with 3 distinct relic levels. They had NOS, which is basically like a new guitar. Then they went for Closet Classic, which is really designed to be like a guitar that was bought new and generally has been stored in the case for like 60 years. And then the Relic, which isn't too dissimilar from this Journeyman Relic I'm holding here. It wasn't until maybe the mid-noughties that they came up with these like really distressed heavy Relic and super heavy Relic finishes. And the rest, I guess, is history. Today, you can order almost anything you can imagine within the Fender range through the custom shop. You can decide what model you want, who you want to build it. You can have team built, you can have master built, you can even choose the master builder. You can choose your Relic level, you can choose spec, down to fret wire, you can choose fretboard radius, clay dots, you can have pearl dots, type of pickups you want, everything from plastics, finish, the whole package. The first model I want you to check out today is this. This is a 59 reissue Strat. It's in a super faded aged Fiesta red finish. It's got an alder body. Being a 59 model, you're going to have a rosewood fretboard with a maple neck. And this one is one of the flat laminated rosewood fretboards. So what they do here is the top of the maple where it contacts the rosewood is flat, and then the rosewood veneer that goes on top is also flat underneath as well. So you would typically call that a slab board. It has clay dots, which we all love from the pre-CBS period, a 3-ply mint green guard, and a trio of hand-wound Fat 50s pickups. Okay, so when people talk about blackguard blonde Teles, this is exactly what they mean. It's an early 50s Tele. In this case, this is a 53 reissue. What you get is a blonde finish with a black pickguard. You also get an ash body, which is very different to the alder that we saw on that Strat. It's got a lot more grain to it. It can be heavier than alder. It also can be a lot lighter as well. You get a chunky one-piece maple neck, so no rosewood veneer, laminate, whatever you want to call it, on top. They've gone for a compound radius on this, so what that means is that low down on the fingerboard, it's a 7¼ inch curve on there, and as you come up the fingerboard, it gets to a 9½. They've even added some 6105 frets to make this really playable. In the bridge position, we've got a hand-wound original blackguard Tele pickup, and in the neck, there's a twisted Tele. Okay, so we're jumping back into Strat country with this super heavy Relic finish 50s guitar. Now, this is a really quirky one. So we've got an ash body, which typically with Strats you wouldn't see anywhere past 1956, or at least mid-56. However, it's got a 3-color sunburst finish, which you wouldn't really see anywhere before 58. Other cool features on this, it has a roasted AAA flame maple neck. It's one piece, just like we were seeing on the Tele then. But to make this a really modern guitar, you've got a 12-inch fretboard radius with 6100 jumbo fret wire. Now to top that off, it's also got some Josephina hand-wound 50s pickups. And Josephina has been winding pickups for a long time with Fender, but most importantly, she was the apprentice to Abigail Ibarra, who hand-wound pickups for Fender since the 50s. Now the next Tele we're going to check out is this 1960 reissue, so very different from the 53 reissue we were checking out. This one is not called a Blackguard Blonde because it doesn't have a black pickguard, so we've gone for a single ply white pickguard on here. It's still got a translucent finish, it's an ash body still. It's got a rift-sawn maple neck with a rosewood slab board on there with clay dots. Now, rift-sawn necks are very interesting. So there's three types of necks that Fender do, or at least three types of cuts for the neck. So you have plain sawn, which is the cheapest. Then you have quarter sawn, which has lots of medallion raised and is a little bit more stable. And then rift sawn, which Fender say is the most stable cut you can get. It's also got a 60s style oval C profile, which is absolutely the most popular neck that the custom shop do for us. We've got two hand-wound Texas Special Tele pickups in there, and to make this even more playable, they have added 6105 frets and a 9.5-inch radius. Right, so now we are back onto the Strats and we're checking out this 56 reissue. This one is a little bit more typical of what I would expect to see, for a late 56 Strat. So we have an older body and it has a one-piece rift-sawn maple neck. It's quite a chunky 1056 V-neck as well, which makes the whole thing really vibrant and kind of throaty sounding. Now, speaking of tones, this actually has three hand-wound bone tone pickups in there, which sound incredible. Definitely, if you haven't heard them yet, check them out. To make it even more playable, what they've done is they've added a 9.5-inch radius fretboard instead of the typical vintage correct 7.25 and 6105 frets too. Okay, so any fan of Keith Richards will notice this as being a Macorba Telecaster. It's a 51 reissue with a Seymour Duncan 59 in the neck, and in the bridge position, you've got a crushed Blackguard Tele pickup. What Fender have done on this one, they've done their fancy HS stacked pots in here, so they've got 250 and 500k pots under each control, which means you get the best out of each pickup. It's got a chunky 1056V, which we absolutely love at the shop. It's got a compound radius fretboard as well, so it goes from 7.25 up to 9.5, making it really nice on the hands for chord work, especially if you put your thumb over the top. And actually, when you get up to the top, it's really nice for lead playing too. So there's the 6 guitars I wanted to present to you today, but I did promise you one special one, so let's grab it out. So this was a guitar that was actually released back in 1999 by the Fender Custom Shop. They didn't release all of them to the dealers. They actually went to some of the bosses and dealerships for Jaguar. So here it is. They only made 25 of these. This one is number 12. Let's go and check it out. So this is, as I said earlier, a very special guitar, and when you look at some of the details on it, it's absolutely incredible. As you can tell instantly, it's very recognisable with the British racing green. You've got bell walnut that was actually sourced from the same suppliers that sourced them for Jaguar. The Connolly gig bag that you would have seen earlier is from the same leather suppliers that Jaguar used for their upholstery, and the fretboard is inlaid with 18 karat gold as well. As I said earlier, this is a really special exclusive guitar that was originally built by Stephen Stern to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Jaguar XK engine. We've had such a great relationship working with the custom shop over the last 30 years. They brought out some absolutely timeless classics, and it's been great getting to know people who are really enthusiastic about the custom shop models too. If you want to find out anything about any of the guitars we've shown off today, all the links will be in the description, and the full range of our custom shop is on the website as well. As always, thanks for watching.